Good afternoon. It's Christine Hendrickson, Kevin Vallieres. Did I say it right?
Close enough.
Close
Vallieres
enough.
Vietnamese.
I needed to practice that one, I think, a little bit more. How did you say to pronounce it in French?
Vallieres.
Valeres?
Vallieres.
Valeres. I'll have to practice it. Definitely have to practice that one more.
Vallieres is easier for English. Yeah.
Well, maybe your stage name should be Kevin V, and we won't have this problem.
Yeah, but then I'll be stealing Gary V for Gary Vaynerchuk. So I don't know.
That's
Can I be
right too.
copying him?
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, so I thank you for coming on here today, and
My pleasure.
we're in the group with Les Brown, Hungry to Speak, and we have not talked about anything, and I am hungry to find out why you are hungry to speak. So why do you want to be a speaker?
So it's very interesting, Christine. At first, years ago, I never wanted to be a speaker, to be honest with you. And so I shared this briefly in a couple videos, but somebody came into my job when I was working at GameStop, and they said, "Hey, you would be wonderful speaking to children. I think you would be a great speaker." And that planted the seed of, "Hey, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can be a speaker." And then I made a critical error, which I mentioned in one of my other videos, and I love my mother dearly. But I told her, I said, "Hey," I told her what this lady said to me, and she said, "You? What are you going to talk about?" And she didn't say it in that much of a condescending tone, but that's how I perceived it. And it planted the seeds of doubt in my head, so that, a little spark of desire of maybe I can do this just boom, went on the back burner. And then, which is so weird, Christine, is that, and I think you might have heard me share this, is that the first time I inspired somebody was with a Les Brown quote. And now I'm in the Les Brown speaker training program. So, like, the synchronicities, I don't really think of coincidence anymore. It's all very synchronistic on the way things have been developing in my life. And so I told this young man who was struggling, and he was calling himself stupid because he was a very hard worker, but he wasn't, the brightest tool in the shed, so to speak, but he was a very hard worker. And I found out he was the breadwinner for his family, taking care of his mother at 19 years old. But he worked very hard, but didn't get a lot done. And he was calling himself stupid. And I said, "Sean, don't say that, man." He's like, "Well, I'm stupid." And he's like, "Sean," I was like, let me share with you a quote that really changed my life, and maybe it could do the same for you. It's like, never let somebody's opinion of you become your reality. And then he was just like lit up. He was something he needed to hear. And that's what I heard from Les Brown. And that's what helped change my life and change my perspective on the story that I told myself about myself. Because, when you don't have belief in yourself, you can't get anything done. Belief drives actions, and that's how things get done. And without belief in yourself, nobody's going to believe in you. You know what I mean? That's how I perceive the world now. And so what happened is I ended up going back to college. I joined an activist group, and they were raising money for hunger and homelessness campaigns and doing a bunch of different things. And I joined because I wanted to actually do something to make a real difference, because up to this point in my life, I really haven't served in the way that I wanted to. And I've been thinking about it more and more lately, especially in the past 6 months. It's like, life is going to go by like that. It's like, what is the point of being here? I've almost died multiple times. I've been spared from death. There has to be a reason. I have to be meant for something greater than just working a job for somebody else, and living somebody else's dream or working on somebody else's dream. So I actually joined the speakers program because I wanted to better articulate my messages and improve my communication skills. And then within the program, I found the desire within kind of burn again to want to be a speaker. And then when I started speaking and started motivating a couple people here and there, it just starts off small. Everything is big starts off small. And it's like every time I do it, I feel more fulfilled. I feel more happier. And it brings me so much joy to know that I can say a couple words and uplift somebody else. And that's why I want to become a speaker, not only because it fulfills me, but because I can be of service to others and help others avoid some of the pitfalls I went through, and maybe help others reprogram their thinking to positivity instead of negativity. Because I used to be the most negative person in the world, Christine. You would not believe it.
I would not. Actually, that probably falls under the question of what would somebody think would be unrealistic of meeting you the first time, and I would put that in that category. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, I was terrible. I was, just not living my ideal life. And every day I loved life. Like I loved life in general. I loved other people, but I hated my own life. I hated myself. And so I wanted to die daily. And that's literally like I would say that to myself, those negative thoughts to myself daily. And now it's the complete opposite. We say I am blessed and highly favored. That's what we say at the Hungry to Speak group. And I truly believe that now. And the things that have been happening are just miraculous, to say the least. But I think that's kind of answers your first question there.
It sure didn't. It gave me a lot of stuff I want to ask now. So going back to the quote that you told your friend, can you say it again?
Yeah, it was. I said, hey, Sean, listen, buddy. I said, this is something I heard from Les Brown. You should look him up. He really helped me change my perspective in my life. And the quote goes like this: "Never let someone's opinion of you become your reality." And his eyes lit up. And then ever since then, he started working even harder as well. And he actually had to leave the job shortly after. And I knew that if he stuck with us long enough, that he would be one of the best because his work ethic, you know what I mean, and his drive alone. Because when you have a work ethic and drive, just because somebody else has a little bit more talent than you, if you have that drive and work ethic and you're going at it day in and day out, you're going to surpass them eventually, no matter how talented they are. As long as you have, this discipline to keep yourself moving forward. And COVID brains hit me again, so I forgot exactly where I was going with that.
No problem, because that actually leads into what I wanted to say. So earlier, before we started the stream, I was telling Kevin that, Kevin has been telling me that he's been having memory issues and around having COVID and recovering. And I said, well, that was my world all the time. And so with the quote that you said, my thoughts were, your friend said he thought he was stupid and you were trying to lift him up. But my thoughts around that quote was, I thought I wasn't very smart because of my issues with my memory. And so when I heard you say that quote, I thought not only other people's opinions are not necessarily true, like don't let them hold you back, but don't let your own opinion hold you back either. And
Yes.
because I had to really dig into myself and go, why do I think this way? Which all related to having memory issues. And is it true? Am I stupid? Like, I didn't think I was smart enough to go to university, so I thought I'll try college, and then if I want to go to university and I think I can do that, maybe I'll do that. So I did college, and then I did a one course at the university, and then I decided that wasn't what I wanted to do anyways, but I was smart enough if I wanted to. So it's kind of an interesting quote. Have you ever thought of that, like how people put their own opinions? Have you put that with that quote?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways to touch on that, and and I think Les said this as well. Like the story you tell yourself is extremely important about yourself, because it all comes down to what you believe you are capable of in your own limitations. And I didn't share this, I don't think, at all in any videos or anything, but this is something that I heard maybe a couple of years back, because I've listened to thousands and thousands of hours of motivational messaging because I had to reprogram my mind because I was in such a bad spot. And I still, to this day, like a half an hour in the morning, half an hour at night, listen to positive messaging, because to keep that positivity rolling and keep those messages coming in. So the analogy that I heard, and I like to expand on it in my own little twist, is that in the circus, there's elephants, these big, massive creatures, right? And when they're baby elephants, they take a little rope, they take a little post, they knock the post down into the ground. The baby elephant can't pull itself away from the rope. And so it grows up its entire life, becomes a full grown elephant, and it still believes that it cannot go past wherever that rope. As soon as they feel that resistance, they are stuck, and they believe that they cannot go past that point. And I like to take that analogy and bring it to our own limiting beliefs, that we are those elephants that are walking around in circles, you know, and as soon as we feel that resistance, we fall right back into our comfort zones. And I think that is what's happening. And when you're able to break that cord and cut that cord, and you start running towards your destiny, towards your dreams, it's like everything is possible. It's just so it's a paradigm shift, and it's happened for me recently. And it's just, and I suggest that people, if you want to have this type of paradigm shift, get around people that you admire, or somebody you idolize, or one of your heroes, and just try to talk with them or have at least one conversation with them. Because like for me now, one big paradigm shift that happened with me, it was like, if I can talk to Les Brown, I can talk to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That was just one thing. And it wasn't just that. It was like many other things that have been happening and people I've been meeting. And it's just my limitations are just like gone now. My fear has just subsided because I have a specific method that I use to eliminate fear. And it's just amazing. And I don't know again where I was going with that because of my brain. But
That's okay. If you just stop, I'll probably think of something to ask you.
oh yes, so now, like I'm the full grown elephant looking back at everybody else who's still tied down and thinking, like, as I look out into the world, and I'm like, don't you know you could be going after your goals and dreams? Like, what is, you know, come run with me, pull that cord out and go. Nothing's holding you back but yourself and your own limiting beliefs. And as we are raised as children, you know, by our teachers, our family, you know, our peers, everybody, they place their limitations on us, and we accept those limitations as reality. And so we grow up believing all those limiting beliefs. And so, like, I come from the last 3 generations of poverty mindset, small minded thinking, you know, all the what if this happens, what if this doesn't work out? And I say, what if it does? You know? So it's I'm the first person in my family that I know of who really shifted their mind and is no longer accepting poverty as, you know, or a way of life, or poverty mindset as a way of life. Now, I am not financially rich at all right now, Christine, but I will be someday. And I know this to be true. It's already, the check's already on the way. Like, I already know it's coming. It's just like I have such strong conviction in my beliefs that I just already know. It's yeah. So
I see your speaking voice. I see you, and I do see you as a speaker that will be able to, you know, put your message out there, and your voice, just to be, you know, like, you have a voice that, like, I hear it and I go, that's a speaker. Before we get into anything else, I just want to thank Melissa for jumping on and being here. I know there's somebody else on here.
Hey, Melissa
Doesn't always tell me, but Melissa made a comment, so I know she's here. So that's great. Thank you very much. Anybody else that's watching can also make comments. And while I'm at it, I can let everybody know that they can follow us on Facebook. And we're broadcasting out to YouTube at the same time, so they can click the subscribe button and share. Do you have a YouTube channel as well, Kevin? Is that something
I'm
in the future?
starting one up in, this summer. It's going, once I finish my semester in May, I believe it is. I'm starting up a podcast called Soldiers of Light, and I'm going to be having probably many of the members of our speaking program on there, and then other members as well. I don't want all, it doesn't have to be all famous people, you know. I want people that from the people that are well known and people that aren't well known, because there are a lot of great, magnificent, wonderful human beings that do wonderful things for humanity and society that go unnoticed, and they need to be shown. Because what happens, we see negativity everywhere we look, but we don't see the positivity of these people, you know, that often. A little fluff pieces on, you know, mainstream media here and there, but most of it's all negativity and hate and violence and this and that, and tools to divide us versus, you know, unite us. And these people that are forces for good, soldiers of light, like I like to call them, they need to be recognized, and they need to be, shown for what they have done and the value they have given humanity.
I'm in agreement there, because the more I'm doing these interviews, and there are some people that have already been speakers for a while, and then there's people like myself that have never spoken on a stage or even a Zoom platform. I started out with just doing some Facebook Live videos, and for the life of me, I didn't know why I felt the need to do them. I just went, I need to do them. Just like I heard Les say interviews, and I went, I need to do interviews. And that is one thing through doing these interviews. Once I get through a lot of these people in the group, that, anybody that wants to do it, and things, start to change again, because life is always changing, I definitely want to start bringing people in that I can interview. Like, I just went on a quick free, like, how to declutter and organize my house thing, and I was like, this is amazing what these people are teaching. I should interview them. So you don't know where life's going to take you. So it's interesting. Your quote earlier, is that your favorite quote, or just a quote that you use? Do you have another quote that's your favorite?
I have, my favorite quote. I'm a huge fan of quotes. So, like, I said this with my interview with Les, which was on my birthday, which was very gracious of him to have me.
Which we share.
Which we do share. We do share that. That's awesome as well. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You made me lose my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
What's your favorite quote?
So I have so many favorite quotes, and what I used to do, like when I started changing my life, is if I couldn't find a quote, like a poster that had words on it that I wanted, I would write them on a piece of paper and put it on my wall. Like, I still have one right here, and I have a poster being made right now. It's actually being shipped to me. He who has conquered doubt and fear has conquered failure. That's powerful to me. And then a Jim Rohn quote, the major key to your better future is you. That's powerful to me. So I wrote those down, and I look at those daily along with other ones, And so one of the quotes I would like to turn into a poster, but it's pretty long. It's by George Bernard Shaw. And I love this quote. It really resonates with me. And this is what it is. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. I think that is, when you really absorb it, it's powerful. It is very deep. And I think you have to be unreasonable when you're going after what you want. You know what I mean? Because people say, "Oh, you got to be realistic in your goals, or set realistic expectations for yourself, or this or that." It's like, no, dream big and go for it. You know what I mean? You got this one life. Don't think small. Don't let other people tell you what realistic is. What realistic is for them is not realistic for you. You know what I mean? That's just my own personal philosophy, is that everybody has, their own dreams and visions and goals, and what they think is realistic is, nobody else's business. So that's one of my favorite quotes.
My mom used to tell us, if we wanted something, then we better figure it out, because nobody was going to do it for us.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, I got to get back to the questions, because I've got them so I can ask right from my screen, and I can put them up in case I forget what I'm doing. Okay, let's see here. All right, let's do some fun questions. What do you like to do for fun?
So something, like I told you, how I've been just breaking my limiting beliefs and stretching myself. So something I started doing recently is flying airplanes, which I'm not even doing it for. I'm going to get my pilot's license, but not to fly for anybody else, to fly for myself. So that was just so amazing and exhilarating. And it's something I like to reward myself with as well. At the same time, I'm learning a new skill, but it's also fun. So it's like I'm still working at something, but I'm having fun. So it's not really work. You know what I mean?
I get it.
It's like a hobby. Yeah. So it's an enjoyable hobby. They had an outbreak of COVID at the airport that I live near. So the lessons kind of got put on hold. I was supposed to go on my birthday. That got canceled. And then I'm supposed to go again the following week. COVID outbreak. So I'm still waiting to get back in. But soon enough I'll be back in there.
So I have not met anybody or know anybody personally that had COVID. Now I know you. How did you get COVID?
My roommate works at Walmart, and I think that pretty much sums it up. He's in contact with all the people and the diseases and everything that goes through there. So once his coworker caught it, he caught it, and then with 2 days later, after he was positive, I was positive. He was only really sick for 2 days heavily, and then had a headache for the rest of the week and was fine. And the only drawbacks that he had were loss of smell and taste, which lasted way longer than it did for me. I had every single symptom on the list. Like if you look at the COVID symptoms, I had them all. I was like, oh my gosh. And I have asthma though too. So I think that's why I probably got it a little worse, because of the asthma. And maybe not, maybe, I don't know. But it's been lingering, like it's just not going away, and it's really pissing me off. I have to be full because I have so much I want to do and so much I want to get done. And like in my mind, I'm like, yes, I need to go get this done, catch up on this. And like I just sometimes can't even bring myself to it because mentally I just can't, or physically I can't at the moment. It's been a battle. And so I didn't know about this long COVID thing until recently, until somebody shared something with me, because I read, I posted about this. I didn't get Les Brown's book autographed yet, sent to me. So I bought it on Amazon Kindle and I read it. And then one of the things that was in there was like taking your health seriously. If something's bothering you, go get checked out. And I'm like, okay, this is a sign because something's wrong with me right now, and I don't know what it is. It's been a month. I should be better. So I went to go get checked out. They said, oh, we can't help you here. You have to go to the ER so they can check your enzymes, do blood work, etc. So I go there, and all they really did was do blood work and give me an x-ray of my heart, which I don't really know what an x-ray is going to do for my heart. But anyways, they said, oh, everything looks fine. You're nice and healthy. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like I can still feel it. Like, oh, well, if you're not better within a week, set something up with your primary doctor or come back. And it's like, I was hoping for an MRI of my brain and my heart because there you can get more of, a detailed examination of what's going on there. And it's just been, I watched a video somebody sent me, people a year later after having COVID, Olympic runners, I believe, or she was an all-star runner. She can still barely walk. And it's like, I'm like, and these are people that are in my age range. It's people that are relatively healthy who might have had, kind of severe to mild COVID symptoms. And then they call them post-acute post-acute symptoms of the COVID, but they're not acute at all. They're pretty, severe for some people and way worse for others. And there was one of what the video I was watching, one of the counselors for this, she experienced it herself. She got COVID in the early stages. It's been an entire year. And she says all she can do is wake up, go to work, do her job counseling, and goes back home and sleeps the rest of the night, the day into the next day, and does rinse and repeat because she does not have the energy to do anything else. And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. It's like sometimes I barely have energy to get on calls like this, but I like to speak. So when I do speak and have a chance, it kind of fills me with a little bit of energy, which is nice. But like once I'm done, I'll be like, you know what I mean?
I did forget. I have a friend that's been messaging me. I don't talk to him face to face. So I'm a visual person and I remember things better when I see it right in front of me. So that's why I like to write things down and have it right in front of me. And then I'm more prone to remember it. But I do have a friend that did mention he had COVID. He had minor symptoms, kind of like your roommate. But then he messaged me back one day and saying he was having issues with his throat. It's like a burning sensation when he swallows now, and he's having a hard time with that. I'm not sure if he's gotten recovered with that yet or not, but it was about a week of that going on. Okay, I got a comment here. Let's see what the comment is.
Sure, let's hear it.
Oh, I think no, it's all right. I'll put it up, but I think coming from Twitch. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on. Yeah, it's just an advertisement.
Guess I'm not going to buy anything. I only want real
advertisements.
People.
I'll be in there deleting it. You never know. I had watch your YouTube channel because I went in to look at the comment and it took me to a porn site, and I'm like, yeah, that's getting deleted. Then it happened a second time and it was the same person, I think. So then I reported it to YouTube. So hopefully that won't happen anymore.
Yeah, they can actually mess up your rankings and stuff too when people put stuff like that on your site,
Yeah.
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So I think there's an option where you can go in and edit or view all comments before they're submitted, or filter specific ones. But you would know more about that at this stage than me because
I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I just figured out how to get to the comment sections not too long ago.
Yeah, it's a journey for sure. Learning process.
I want to mention something too that I wanted to say earlier, and I'm like, you mentioned about serving, and I'm finding that a common theme amongst a lot of the speakers. It's a very serving heart. It seems to me that a lot of people in this group, that's what they want to do. They want to serve. And I really never thought of that. Like, we have these blinders on and you think, okay, I want to serve, but I'm starting to hear everybody else in there. It's a common reoccurring theme of serving. So I love that. I love that everybody's wanting to serve because we're going to make the world a better place. And my saying is all about having a light within and shining your light. So actually, I had my coaching call with Les this week, and I said, I don't even know how to brand myself. And he says, and it was like literally light bulb, pun intended. And he said, like, basically my concept of bringing light to the world is my brand. And I'm like, so simple, yet like, why didn't I see that? And I even did a video. I told him, I said, I did a video on Facebook probably about a year or more. I don't even know when I did it now. And I'm like, I talked about the light, and I don't know why I didn't bring that more into, what I'm doing with Les, because he says to me, what do you do? In my first coaching call, he's like, what do you do like for work? And I'm like, I'm an electrician. He's like, he was just so surprised, because there's very few women electricians. And I said, he says, do you like it? And I'm like, I love it. And he's like, you love it? And I said, absolutely. And it all stemmed from that. So now in my thing, I say, I'm Christine Hendricks, and I'm an electrician, and I'm here to light up your world and energize it for you. So I'm working all that in, and that's going to be my brand. So I don't know if he's worked with you or not, but that's so cool. I don't know. It's really exciting.
Yeah, congratulations, Christine. No, I haven't had the privilege of speaking one-on-one with Les yet, outside of that interview. But I'm sure when it happens, it'll be a great experience indeed.
Well,
I think the reason that, obviously everybody in the Hungry to Speak program, I feel like they want to serve because they feel they've been called on to do something greater with their lives. I mean, at least that's how it is for me. And I think like I was being called on many, many times over the years, but I never answered the call. You know what I mean? I just kept ignoring it. And then I finally came to the realization not too long ago, like, I don't know, 6 months ago, where it's like, yeah, I'm going to die. Like, what is this life about? And am I going to make it better? Or am I going to make it worse? Or am I just going to sit here and just watch what happens around me? And it's like, I might as well take a chance and try to do something good with my life. And if I can help others in the process, and it makes me even happier in doing so. And if I can get paid doing it, then it's a win-win-win for everyone, So
I asked Les about that too. And he says, don't you worry about that. You'll get paid doing it.
Yeah. Actually, I have my first live, it'll be first live on stage that I know of so far down in Atlanta, Georgia, come June 12th and June 13th. There is an event, and there's going to be at least 100 people. They still have like COVID restrictions, so they can't have too many, but you had to pay to get on stage down there. And it's for new speakers. And I'm like, it's an opportunity. I don't know how I'm getting to Georgia yet. I don't know where I'm staying, but I know I'm going to make it happen. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't want to hold you up. I know we only got so much time here.
No problem. Woo, there's that brain again. Let me see. Let me go back to questions. I think you answered this with the airplane thing, but maybe there's something different. I thought I had it with I think it was Nasser Dean, and then he told me something else, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. Is
So
it the flying? Is it the flying?
well, I mean, there's so many different bizarre, interesting things about me.
Okay,
I'm unique like everybody else in their own way, and I'm a weird guy. I would think something that's somebody wouldn't know and they might find interesting is that I had an encounter with what I would like to call the divine or an angel when I was 16 years old. And I had this conversation with Ben Swicegood on his podcast for the first time. I actually talked about it. Um, and it was I said angel to him because he's a Christian man and that's the best way he can perceive my message. And when it comes to something that's unknown, it's very hard to talk about, especially with certain people, and especially if they have specific beliefs that they will not let break. So I like to
they think people like you and I are nuts.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, if you want to go after your dream, you got to be a little crazy, you know, and to believe in yourself, and to believe you can beat the odds, you know, that are stacked against you, especially if you come from nothing like I do, and I'm not sure where you come from, but anyways, so that would is something interesting that I think people, you know, would like to know when first meeting me or might find interesting. And I've been spared many times from death, from asthma attacks, many times. Rushed to the hospital. I was to the point many times where I was just like, "Yep, this is it. It's over," and then air back in my lungs and I'm alive. And I got to a point where I was so bad, Christine, you know how you're talking about the brain issues and the memory stuff? I was literally getting stupider by the day because my oxygen wasn't going to my brain properly. And I was seeing specialists and on all this different medication. And it was just awful. Like I was, my IQ like got cut in half. Like it was, I couldn't even explain how
Wow.
like horrible it was because like your mind is your greatest asset. And what I believe is that when you personal development is so vitally important because when you develop those skills, they can never be taken away from you. You know, except for by yourself. You can never be fired from personal development. You can never, you know what I mean? Nobody can steal that from you. Whatever you develop in yourself and you're within and you're with your mind, that is yours to keep. You can have all the mansions and physical objects, but unless you're able to free your mind, you are not truly free and you are not truly wealthy, in my opinion. And that's why, because I have been able to free my mind, I believe I am so much wealthier than some of the richest people on the planet because they are still consumed with fear and doubt and worry and this and that. And they let that control their lives and their decisions. Whereas me, I am more open to the possibilities and just, you know, the love and light like we were talking about a moment ago. But yeah.
Well, let me ask you this then. So, and again, this may have been answered with you going on stage in the future, but is there something else or you'd like to share or more about that? Something you're looking forward to in the future?
Well, what I'm looking forward to is one, I would love to become an in demand speaker. That would be amazing. You know, I would love to get paid to speak. I would love to be able to uplift and inspire and motivate people and change their thinking because I know what it's like to be in that dark, helpless, hopeless place. And I've transitioned out of that place to a much better place and I'm going to a much better place. So it's different when you have a counselor who's like, oh, go do this, go do that, versus somebody who's been through it and, you know, overcame it and can, you know, try to help others do the same thing if they're currently struggling with, you know, addiction or depression or anxiety or whatever it may be, or just a lack of belief in themselves. I've had all those, you know, demons, so to speak, haunt me, and I've been able to slay them one by one. So what I'm looking forward to is my big dream. And this, I don't like telling my big dream to small-minded people. Well, my big dream that I would love to see accomplished before I die is that in America and then globally, if possible, I would like to see all the homeless shelters change the name from homeless shelter into empowerment centers. And I would like to have it mandatory that every one of these residents must listen at least 1 hour a day on TV or whatever to motivational messaging as a requirement of living there. And also having motivational speakers, keynote speakers, both nationally and locally, be visiting these centers to empower and uplift people that need the most hope, because these are the people that are, suffering the most. And they're the ones that need to change their mindset so they can get out of the situation that they're in. They need the financial training, et cetera, all these types of tools to get them out of that poverty, and most importantly, out of that poverty mindset, because the mindset is key to everything in life. That's just what I believe. And I think that's a vision I would love to see happen first in America and then globally. And we can easily accomplish this by having a federal bill, which anybody who makes over $500,000 a year, business or as an employee, gets taxed 1% of their income. It goes to this specific foundation. It's written off in taxes. And so that way they get their money back. And it's just like a government, tax write-off. But it actually goes to helping people instead of, keeping people down and in their situations that they are. We're not doing enough at all, in my opinion. We're considered the richest country in the world, yet we have so many homeless people, so many elderly that have nothing. It's just, I look at people on the streets and it's just like, this is not how life should be for, what I mean?
Something's wrong.
Nobody in this country should be homeless. Nobody.
No.
It's very sad. But that's one of my visions, my big visions. I have bigger ones, but that's the one I'm willing to share with you right now.
And it sounded like you actually answered, if you had one wish, what would it be as well in there with the homeless shelters? So I like that.
My one wish would be to free the masses of their limiting beliefs. That would be my one wish. If I could have that wish, done like that, that would be it. Because if we were able to free everyone of their limiting beliefs, do you know how miraculous this world would be? Like overnight, our whole society would change. Nobody would be living out of fear anymore. They'd be living out of possibility, and it would just be a magnificent transformation. I'm sorry, things keep popping up on my computer.
Oh, that's all right. Everybody's hearing it. We know what it is. That's okay. So let's wrap it up, and let me give you a chance to either put something out there that you want to put out there, whether it's more of your message or just a quote, whatever it is you want to say, and we'll wrap it up with that.
Yeah, I mean, so right now I'm starting a new business, Poster Quoter, posterquoter.com. You can go to Poster Quoter on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on at least one of those channels, or all of them. We're on Pinterest as well. Posterquoter.com will be open hopefully within the next month. Every time I say within so many days, it ends up getting extended because there's so much more I have to do. It's you think things are going to be done quickly, but it takes time to get things in the way you want them to be done properly and by the law, so to speak. So anybody who wants to change their environment without moving out of their environment, if they can't afford to, you can get some awesome different posters. I got some behind me. You can't really see them all, but there's a couple of pieces. I got some across in front of me that I look at. One's from Einstein. Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Great quote. You know what I mean? Powerful quote. Great for children. So anybody who wants to change their environment, put some powerful quotes on their wall or their office and look at them every day and be reminded, that the possibilities of life are endless, and those powerful quotes can really change your perspective. So follow me on, social media if you want, if you like my message, if you felt that if what I say resonates with you. I want to do more talking with addiction centers and, homeless shelters and places like that as well too. So I really want to help the people that need the help the most. So that's my message. And I'm sticking with that, I guess, today, Christine. And it was so lovely for you to have me on. People stay tuned in the future. Soldiers of Light podcast will be up and running, hopefully, in June. And if I'm on stage come June, I will share that with the world as well.
I love that. And I'm sure you'll be on stages in the future. I'm going to put the links up in the descriptions when I get a chance. And I wanted to.
Oh, can I say one last thing real quick that I
Okay.
want, one last little message I wanted to share is that when it comes to changing your life, like only takes one day and one decision to make the change. But to really fully make that change, there's one thing I noticed that must be done. And you must, even though many horrible or terrible things may have happened to you, you must take full responsibility for where you are right now in your life and blame nobody else but yourself. Because once you do that, and once you get rid of the victimhood mentality, and society right now is trying to make everybody out to be a victim. Everybody's oppressed. Everybody's this. Everybody's that. Oh, woe is me. Once you say, no, screw that. I'm not going to let whatever they say about me. I'm not going to adopt that victim mentality. Once you bring back the power of your own choices of where you currently are, it gives you your power back to direct to where you want to go in your future. So by taking control and responsibility of where you're currently at, you are able to redirect and use that power to go into the direction of your own true destiny of where you want to be. So that's what I wanted to end on, and that's one of the messages I wanted to give. So thank you so much, Christine.
That's a perfect note.
Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, and I want to thank you. And there we go. I want to thank the viewers that have been on here watching. And with that, we're going to say goodbye and sign off. Goodbye, everybody.
Namaste.